Motherhood. Motherhood.
Day.
Yes.
Yep.
Normally,
Mother's
you
Day.
know, Mother's
Oh.
Day traditions.
Mhm.
Dress up. Do you dress up for Mother's Day
No.
to go out?
I don't dress up for any holiday I've
Fine. I
decided.
just want to. What's up?
Like, I'm just not-
when you met Skylar, when you meet each kid,
Oh man, I know. It's the weirdest thing.
like you were
and I-
still picked, right? Like, do you believe that
Yes,
you were still chosen?
yes, very
to
much
meet
so.
the
We met
parents
at the
of these-
beginning.
these beautiful-
He's the only one that has said, "Well, you're not my real mom," and I will say, I immediately was like crushed.
Yeah.
Is it the ultras talking?
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
all right, crack one with us. Here we go.
Good evening.
Okay,
Here, drink.
I know I can't really cheers you. I'm like behind.
Cheers.
Mhm.
Welcome back.
We do have a guest with us today. He was unwilling to accept no for an answer. And persistence is definitely one of your strong suits, yeah? Want to tell him what your name is?
She did not tell me no, but my name is Radley.
Pretty sure she told you no.
Definitely did. But yeah. You wanted to come on. You wanted to sit here for a second. You usually are really quiet in the background,
Yes,
Which
every
is-
episode.
which is pretty abnormal for you. But you
do it because you like it, huh, buddy?
Mhm.
I like to sit right here. What
Oh.
do you got?
Yeah, but no. Okay. You don't need to. Okay. I do like your shirt today, though, because, and I didn't even tell you to put this on. You just put it on.
Yes.
And that's kind of something we're going to talk about today.
It's our theme.
Yes.
We are
So,
going for
It's Mother's Day.
yes,
Yep.
Mother's Day edition.
Mother's Day
Yep.
edition. All right. Okay. Well, we're going to talk about you a little bit, and you really wanted to get in here, but we got to get on with the show. Okay.
Oh, thanks, Rad, for coming.
Okay.
Yeah.
Love you. Bye.
Motherhood. Motherhood.
Ain't no hood like the motherhood.
Oh, God, hold tight.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm still thinking about Ruby Frankie, and we're going to be good.
Right.
I'm A+ mom.
Yes. Cheers.
When?
Yeah. Dad.
Oh, no. Let it be.
Oh.
Let it go. Hey, I know we weren't going to talk about this, but I
Oh.
am reading a book.
Let them. The let them
Oh,
theory.
yeah. The Let Them by
Uh-huh.
Mel Robbins.
Uh-huh.
Yes. I just started it. Introduction. Great.
Yeah.
I do one book a month.
Oh, good.
Yes. I mean, that's my goal I give myself
Mm-hmm.
because I'm busy, but I do enjoy it. And so this so far, I've wanted to read it and it's been good.
Yeah.
Oh, eat.
Uh,
Notifications. Anyways, so Let Them. Have you read it?
I have not read the book, but I've watched a lot of TikToks about people that talk about it and little things like that. And I do think that it's like, I like that theory. I like that. I've seen some of those things. And I think it's a really good theory. Like, I really do think that theory of just letting people like, hey, you know what? If you want to do that, like, okay, let them.
Let Them.
Mhm.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I mean, do I stop reading it now?
No.
Oh, okay.
Keep going.
Okay.
Yeah. You can fill me in on whatever the TikToks
Okay, I
out.
will. I will. You'll still know more. And I'm like, how?
Oh yeah. Yeah. So, and I got me a new hat. I don't know if you know this.
I
It's,
like it. Yeah, I do
She's-
like it. I'm jealous.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
jealous.
Yeah, little Mickey. Little-
So we decided to dress
We did.
like Mother's Day. Normally, Mother's
Oh.
Day traditions.
Mhm.
Dress up. Do you dress up for Mother's Day
No.
to go out?
I don't dress up for any holiday. I've decided. Like, I'm
Like
just
you
not.
quit dressing up, or you,
Yeah, like my mom was always really big on that. Like, you have to wear like your nice stuff or wear something, blah blah blah. And I have just become much more of a comfort, go in what you're comfy in kind of person.
Sure, I get that.
That
Yeah.
is, it's let me,
Yeah,
let me.
I like that, Jen.
Mhm, mhm.
I do enjoy dressing up.
Yeah, and you do, and it's not that I like when I have to, like, there's certain we had to go to an event in Bozeman,
Yes.
and And it was a fancier event. It was kind of in an art gallery
But
and
do
some
you
other
feel
stuff.
like,
Yeah.
to dress up,
Mhm.
it's special? It's
Yeah.
you enjoy the makeup, the hair, the clothes, the heels.
Well, I'm never really do. I do one level of makeup. That's all I know how to do. That's my comfort level. That is it.
Well, this is my everyday and my fancy.
Oh yeah. I mean, like
I might
don't-
add some glitter.
I do not know how to
Yeah.
do. I can put on eyeshadow, mascara, eyeliner,
There you go. Some
and fill
rouge.
in my eyebrows, and that's all I can do.
I love it.
I don't
look good.
know how to do the other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But-
you.
So I went for comfort. I do like comfort. My everyday
Yes.
mom attire comfort.
Yes.
But if we go out, so let's talk Mother's Day
So
tradition.
yeah, I would say, what do you like to do?
Traditionally, we used to, when my kids were younger,
Mhm.
we used to try to make the effort to take our mothers, right?
Mhm.
And you do so. We would really just try to do breakfast. It's easy,
Mhm.
And this is before my sister was back home, and so we would do a good old Perkins.
Oh,
We would take
yeah.
my parents, his parents, meet at Perkins,
Mhm.
and even Adam's aunts. He had an aunt that she did not have children, but she was very much a part of our lives
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
when she was alive. And so we would celebrate Mother's Day.
Oh yeah, that's good.
It has changed where I think you become, it's no disrespect. You do try to celebrate your moms.
Mhm.
And so we will make a special event or do something, dinner or whatever with them.
Mhm.
But Mother's Day, we it's pretty much whatever I want.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, we kind of did the same thing when we were younger, or when our kids were younger. We were younger too.
We're always young.
Whatever.
Remember, I'm
Yes.
still 30 something.
Yes. But we used to go and you're kind of in the same situation that we are, where you have both families that are here,
Yes.
and you end up just
Feeling torn,
well,
divided.
yeah, because it was never a thing where they would go together
Mhm.
to something. So it's always, okay, go here and spend 2 to 3 hours. Go here and spend 2 to 3 hours, and then the day would be done.
But you do have bigger families, both of you, whereas Adam and I have small families.
Yeah,
And so, yes, I can see that.
yeah. So it was just
An
it was
ordeal.
just a lot, and again, it's not that you don't appreciate,
No.
because you do,
Yes.
but
It's about you.
sometimes I kind of want to, like,
Let them.
yeah, I mean, that would be nice.
No, I think when you take this, and I think our parents realize it, right? It's nice.
Yours might.
Mine has no choice, so she says it's okay.
Yeah.
But I think for like your own sanity, we're busy lives, busy,
Yeah.
the kids. And so, I
Well-
mean, there's been Mother's Days where I've been left because, the kids are busy and
mhm.
farming season.
Yep.
But I also understand, if my family comes and says, "What do you want to do?"
Yes.
I say, sometimes I just want to be home, or
Yeah.
sometimes dress me up and take me out.
Mm-hmm. I do. I mean, honestly, like, my store, Burley Meats, has been open. I think the last 2 years was when I finally just was like, yeah, we're not going to be open, because it was a big day for us, because men always shop last minute
Oh, yeah. And they're going to barbecue.
and they never know how many pounds they need. So they're always like, maybe give me 2. How about 20?
It's either
Yes.
not enough or too much.
Yes.
A
And so
plethora of meat.
And for whatever reason, like, everybody would always be like, I would schedule other people.
Sorry.
I would schedule other people. And then guess who's working on Mother's Day? Me.
Well, you know what? Your boundaries. Boundaries is big right now for me. Creating
Well,
them.
this
So
is
that's
how
a
I
good one.
learned this, though, is because I was frustrated that I had to. This is the last Mother's Day, maybe, or maybe the one before that. I was frustrated that I was having to work on Mother's Day because I had scheduled my other, like, teenage boys and some of these others, and then they were like, "Yeah, sorry, we've got a family party." So, and when you're the boss, like, you have to feel it. Like, it just
Sure. Yep,
whatever.
naturally.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
They're either gonna call, because what I found with some of them is, if I won't give them the day off, then they're just going to call in sick.
Yeah.
So I might as well just plan on working it.
all of them.
So the night before, I had Jeremy take me out to the Drift Inn, And well, the ultras be ultraing.
Oh,
And
good job,
I
Mom.
did.
You know,
And then the next day I was hurting. Decisions were made.
do you think you showed up to work still drunk? Or
Probably, I don't know. I just know that I
or
was
were
like,
you hangover?
oh, I was very hungover. And I told Jeremy,
Oh.
it was really just like me and my daughter, who works for me. I was like, it's the two of us. And he was like, well, it's Mother's Day. He's like, we'll come in, we'll help you. So they came in, and then I told her, I was like, I cannot customer today. I cannot. Just let me be back here on the slicer, and I will just slice all the meat. Just let me be back here by myself.
Let them.
And then Jerry, when we got done and we cleaned up everything, he was like, why don't we take you over to El Cap? And I was like, okay.
Hair
And I
of the
just-
dog. Hair of the dog.
But they have the mariachi band in their bar. It was so loud.
That's what every mother
And
wants.
I was like, oh my gosh. Like, I think I had a hood on, and I was like, oh, just
Sunglasses. That's when I would maybe say, or next door to Taco Bell.
Yeah. I mean, I love El Cap and I love
Yes.
Cindy and everybody, but the mariachi band in that the bar that's so echoey and
Yes.
the head was already pounding, and I was like,
No. Happy Mother's
"Oh,
Day.
Happy Mother's Day." But this year, Jeremy's birthday falls on Mother's Day. He has one of those May birthdays that every so often he's right around that. And this year it falls on Mother's Day. So
Unless you pretend
to
to
me, that
celebrate
was,
the day early.
well, that was one more thing that we just add on to our day. And
Sure.
he does not love his birthday. In
I
fact,
know that.
he despises it, and he is
Is it aging? You don't want to age. Oh, attention.
Yeah, he doesn't. He feels like
Everybody, I'll
shouldn't-
give you his number.
He feels like he should not
555 5555.
Jerry. No, he feels like you shouldn't get attention for just being born. Like, that's a stupid thing to celebrate. And I'm like, I mean,
But as mothers,
well, but it's also,
it's-
to me, I'm like, be grateful that
Yeah.
you made it another year. There's a lot of people who don't get that, you know what I mean,
sure.
chance. And so I guess I'm grateful for aging. For every year, for every milestone I see of my kids, for everything. Like, I'm trying really hard to just focus on, I mean, not the wrinkles, not the gray hairs that they're giving me, but just that I get to see
You can fix
them.
all of that.
Yeah.
Botox and hair dye.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I understand his point, and I understand yours. I think some birthdays are easier, some birthdays are harder.
Yes. And I would say that, yeah, I for years I walked around on like eggshells, though, because it's really hard for me to not do something to celebrate somebody that I love. But he hated everything that I would like. It's not that he wouldn't appreciate it, but he was like, "Why did you do this?"
So this year will be good because it'll be.
I just quit.
Yes, I know, but this year will be good because it'll be together.
Yeah.
You can celebrate him,
Mhm.
and he can celebrate you.
But in between all of that, I'm sure there will be events we have to go to also. Yeah. It's fine. I mean, it's good. It's fine.
So before we get into dive into this
Uh-huh.
big topic, which I would like to celebrate my mom and my mother-in-law and all my friends that are mothers.
Mhm.
However, this topic is a good one for you. I think it's special.
No.
But I do have a present
Oh, okay.
for both of us. I can buy myself
Okay.
Okay, so one is for you. Yeah,
Okay.
don't open the whole bag. It's just one.
Okay.
All right. I mean, and I brought some
Oh.
extra. If
Oh,
you
we're
want
gonna get
to.
glitter on some of this.
Oh yeah, I love glitter.
Oh, I
Oh, hold
love
on, my baby
them.
boy. I'm sorry, buddy.
I
Sorry,
love that.
didn't I? Oh,
It's
look
the
at this.
Ultra
Isn't
Cup.
I know, because I think we can
Those are
drink
like-
out of it.
Those are like fancy.
They are,
Like,
yes.
I bet these are like.
yes,
Oh.
and they can go on the shelf later. Yes.
Has
So-
it been washed, Amy?
Yes.
Oh God.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Fuck yes, I washed them.
Damn it.
Please tell me you don't eat off of the dishes from the store.
No, I don't. But I was gonna do it. I was totally
Yeah,
fine.
Well, I mean, and this girl.
Oh,
Oh, you're
that's-
pouring it horribly wrong. Oh my God,
I
you're
wanted the
killing me
sound.
all over the place.
I wanted the sound. But now I gotta stick my finger in there. Get the
Earwax and I'm going to add
oh
my home brewed Bloody Mary mix.
yes. You do. You have your own home brewed.
I do. I am so Mormon in so many ways.
You are. You
I'm
are.
so Mormon in so many ways.
You
And I will
were
own that.
always, I know you always were. You would.
Thanks, Gerald.
Yeah. No. No. I was Mormon, so I have firsthand knowledge of this. And you were always a better. Right now, you're a better Mormon than I ever was.
Summers will love me.
Yes. Chalmers is my mom. That is what my kids have always called her. Oh, what? Oh, it's taking her straight, huh?
Well, it's good. Do you want to?
I am not. No.
I just try it. It's
I-
Bloody Mary mix.
Oh,
I brewed this. It'd be
God.
rude.
that was so aggressive. Fine.
Well, let me add my beer in.
Okay, it's not bad. I could probably do that, actually. It was a little spicy. I'm a wimp when it comes to spice. You know these things.
Bloody Mary mix. Also,
All my spice is built in. I do not need to add more. Like, it's all in there.
yeah. Oh, you mean yourself? I got it.
Yeah.
It's a little slow, as usual.
But no, that's good. I could actually do that
Hey,
one.
look. Again, the Mormon can pour.
Yes, she can. So can I.
Mm.
I'm a recovering.
I'll own it. I don't know if they'll own me.
I'm a recovering Mormon.
I'll own. Okay, see? Cheers. Mine looks messy. That bugs me. Let me pause and I fix that.
Yeah. Oh,
Is that cute?
so cute.
Mm.
All right, Burley Meats without the E because I'm punny. Home of the quality meat and drinks because salad is for quitters. Tired of pretending kale smoothies fill you up? Sick of nibbling on birdseed while your soul cries inside? Come to Burley Meats, where we believe in two things: meat and more meat. Oh, washed down with something that burns a little bit on the way down too. Our beef is so fresh, it still has options. Our beer is so strong, it might file for emancipation. Whether you're grilling, chilling, or just trying to remember what happiness tastes like, Burley Meats has you covered. Burley Meats, because deep down, you know a salad never wrote a love song.
Hold tight. I got it. Oh, yeah, no, that looks good.
Oh, yeah, you got that. That's good.
Did. Yeah, it did.
Oh,
So, anyways,
okay. Yeah.
nope, we're not sponsored yet.
Nope. Really working on it, though. Call our people. Have your people call our people.
My people or your people? Your people.
The ultra people.
Oh, yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Slow. Okay.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Where do you want to start? Like, and I do want to also say I appreciate my mother. My grandmother, my
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
well, I mean, she passed away. I don't know, a year and a half ago.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I still
but
have my granny.
yeah, but I well, that's the one that I
Was
remember.
close.
My other grandma passed away when I was like 2, so I don't remember her at all.
Yes, Casey.
Thank you. I'm glad you said that because everybody gives me shit about
No, I
being a
need
wimp.
my.
I was like,
I almost felt like I need to open another one. Mix it.
yeah. But I do want to acknowledge them and my mother-in-law and all my friends that are moms and my sister-in-laws and everybody and even those that
Oh
aren't.
gosh, you're good. Now I'm gonna get.
But even those
and
even
my
those,
sisters too.
but even those that aren't. Like I think that's the thing that was hard for me when Mother's Day would come around and Jeremy and I are pretty private about stuff.
Sure.
And I guess I
Sure.
mean I'm very private about stuff. I can joke about things and that's my defense mechanism. Shocker that I will joke about something.
Sure.
But yeah, no, we had fertility issues and it was not something that could be explained and it's not I mean it's a process. I mean, when you kind of feel like, okay, things are not happening the way it should be, then it is time frames of
So
doctor's
I'm going to
appointments.
ask questions along
Yeah,
the way
do.
because this is new. Because I never have. Like I'm not one. Like if you share, I listen. So I'm gonna ask.
Yeah, do.
Okay.
Ask away. We're pretty
So,
open about it.
How long were you married, and realized you couldn't have children?
So I did not want to. We got married when I was a child bride at 19. I was almost 20, but I was my marriage license was 19, and I did not. I was after my sophomore year of college, and I did not want to be one of those pregnant girls walking around on campus. And I was very determined to get my bachelor's.
Okay.
And so I was pretty adamant that
Like you gave yourself permission not to have a baby.
Yeah, no, like that was
wasn't
not gonna be
bonded and
happen.
That's okay. I think that's great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody's different, but for me, I was just like, oh, this is hard enough going to class and doing these things and taking care of everything. Like I do not want to be waddling around, uncomfortable, then trying to figure out child's care and
Sure.
everything else. Like I was like, I'll never get done. Like I'll just quit.
Sure.
So,
Well, just because you get married doesn't mean that's has to be the next step.
right. But that is always everyone's
Expectations.
Yeah. And why do people feel like it's their business? You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, oh, I used to get asked it all the time. When are you guys going to have kids? And I'm like, it's not business.
Yeah. No,
You
it's
know?
not. It's not. I mean,
Uh-huh.
I think it's just an awkward thing people say if they have nothing else to say.
Yeah,
Like, I'm going to
yeah.
say something to you, so let me make you feel bad about yourself.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what it is, but
Sure.
I would say so. Just before, I think we kind of started exploring that. Like, yeah, okay, if I got pregnant, like it'd be okay.
Mhm.
About just 4 or 5 months before I graduated, because I was like, okay, we're
Sure.
close enough.
Sure.
Like
Like, I can do this.
I could do this.
Yeah.
And anyway, it just was one of those things where I'm like, okay, this is not happening. Like, maybe we should start somewhere. And there was a few people who, and I, out of respect for them, I'm not going to say who it was, but there was a few people that kind of gave some suggestions because they had some fertility issues. My mom made it sound like always like they volunteered that information. Knowing my mom, she probably finagled that meetup, finagled that conversation, finagled that to get some of that
Did
information.
you just say meat?
Meet?
Oh, no.
My mom made like that
Oh,
meeting,
yes.
like that.
The meat.
Yes, the meeting
Oh,
happened.
I'm with you.
Yeah,
I'm
just knowing my mom, that's probably what happened. Which is, I mean, it's fine. It got me the information.
Sure. That's a
And-
mom being a mom.
Yeah, it got me some
Sometimes.
information. There were
Overdue.
certain things that
Here's
anyway.
my armpit. Okay, sorry.
Anyway, so I made an appointment with like a gynecologist and went in there and we started but it's a process of elimination. And it is doctor's appointments, and you know how doctor's appointments are. It's not like you get in the next day. It's like go home and take your temperature every morning before you get out of bed. Don't even get up and pee, but you need to lay there and you need to take your temperature and clock it for 30 days.
I'm sorry, like take your temperature
Mhm.
of your forehead?
Mm-hmm. Not like under your tongue.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you stuck
Yeah.
the thermometer somewhere
Yeah.
else. Okay.
No, like under your tongue. No, under your tongue.
I don't know. I'm sorry. So psycho. Okay.
No, but it's like your basal temperature, and so it's an indicator of when you're ovulating and things like it's all sorts of stuff like that. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Who knew?
Yes.
Mhm. And anyway, so there was just a lot of those kind of things that you do in doctor's appointments after doctor's appointments, and
So where's your emotional level right now?
um,
Because everybody's different.
I'll be flat out honest with you. I always thought, and Jeremy and I had always talked about, it's weird because we'd always talked about adopting because he made it sound like he wanted like 6 kids. And I was like, oh, I am not having that many children. Like, that's not going to happen. If you would like that to happen,
Look somewhere else.
we're adopting at least.
Oh,
3/4 of
you
that.
mean you're not
Yeah, I
birthing.
am not
Birthing 6.
No,
Okay, I'm
no.
with you. It's not the,
He
the
comes from
children
a-
numbers.
Yeah, he comes from a family of 6. He's
Okay.
the 3rd oldest, but the oldest boy.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, I don't like that. So we'd always talked about adopting 1 or 2, 3 kids
Okay, I
on
like
the
that.
end.
Mhm.
And so when we finally got, and I was really grateful, and I'm still very, very grateful that we got a very definitive, it's not going to happen. They couldn't tell us why. Like, there's no why for
The answer.
yeah.
The
There's
answer.
there's no why. It's just no, it's not going to happen.
Mhm.
And honestly, like
So is that like a doctor's visit? And
yes,
they
and
invite
testing
you
and
in-
testing
into the
and
room and they sit you both down and tell you.
Can I can I tell yours? Okay, I just had to get permission. So for all
Thanks,
the women out there, there's some validation because I got some. So part of the testing that we had to do is you have to be tested as a female to see if there's
Right.
any complications, anything there that would be hindering the process. And then the second thing is they also then have to get a sample from the men, from Jeremy. And so, number one, that's really fun. He had to give a semen sample, and I had to ride with it in my armpit because it had to be kept body temperature to the lab and hand over my husband's semen sample.
Whoa, whoa.
Mhm.
Did you help in the semen sample?
I did.
Oh, yeah. Group effort, man. You are doing this
Well, I
together.
had to make sure that we got I didn't know if he because here's what's worse is they were like, you can do it in the parking lot, and I was like, and Jeremy just looks at me, he's like, I am not sitting out in the car in the
Oh my gosh,
parking
it's like high school.
because it has to be got to the hospital within a certain amount of time, and it has to be body temperature.
Sure.
So
That's
they're
a
like,
lot
"You're-"
of pressure.
Yes. Yes. So we had that, and then he had to go and have an appointment with a urologist
Sure.
in University of Utah, and he got to go in the stirrups
Oh,
and have a biopsy done.
now you know how we feel.
He does. He does.
Now you
Well,
know how we
it
feel.
was honestly like at first I was giggling, like laughing,
Sure.
and then but a biopsy. I don't know if you've ever like known anyone, but basically they have this big old. When I say a big old needle, like it looks like a gun, a big huge needle, and it has a dart, kind of like if you were like piercing your ear, but it goes in, collects a sample, and pulls back out.
Of him?
Of his testes. So he had to sit there in the stirrups and not.
I don't
flinch
have any,
while
and
this
mine are
guy-
like,
well, and it was just I mean, you won't be able to hear that sound, but it was a thwack, thwack, like, and you could just see. And at first, I was giggling. I was reading Harry Potter.
oh,
Sitting supportively next to him. At first, trying not to laugh, and then I was like, okay, now I feel really bad. So we did stop off at a gas station, bought him a Gatorade bottle to sit on the way home because he was like, I need something like cold.
oh, wow.
But yeah. So I mean, there's moments like that where honestly, when you're kind of in it, like we just look at each other and just laugh because what else do you do? Like,
Sure.
I mean,
That's-
it's painful. It's, you don't know why. And like I said, when
Or your expectations, right? You have
Yes.
nothing to
Yeah.
like. I mean, they didn't tell you to buy a bag of frozen peas.
Nope,
They didn't
we
give
didn't
him
know.
anything.
We didn't know.
I can't believe they didn't give him anything.
Right. Right.
Huh.
Well, that's men. It was a men doctor, urologist. They're not thinking about
Feelings.
being helpful.
Yeah.
If that was like a breast cancer, you know what I mean? Or something like that, or like a OBGYN, they'd have a nice cushy robe for him to wear.
Yes.
They would have a lovely
Give him a
spa like-
flower when he left. Lollipop. There you go,
Yes.
bud. There you go. Good job.
Yeah, they didn't do that. He didn't even get a sticker.
Oh. Yeah, he
No.
did. Not her. You didn't stick her.
Mm-mm.
You got stick him.
Yeah. So anyway, it felt like forever, but in the scheme of watching other people have fertility issues, I'm constantly just incredibly grateful because we got our answer and we didn't have to go through years and years and years of, do we keep trying? We just kind of knew. And so
Sure.
immediately it was an easy choice that adoption was going to be.
And
what
you
we
guys,
wanted.
I would say with your marriage, I've noticed you guys are always pretty much on the same page.
Yeah,
Like
I think
you guys
we are.
vibe
We do.
well.
We do.
And congrats
Yeah,
to that. That's
thanks.
not everybody can do that.
No. And-
So I mean, to emotionally like
Yeah.
awareness and to be on the same page and to laugh about it and to
Yeah.
You
And
know.
it wasn't always the easiest. It was
sure,
not like, I mean,
can't even imagine. I'd probably cry all the time.
I mean, and then the second thing that so I am kind of task oriented, and if
Sure.
you give me a task, if you give me like a thing, I can obsess about it and I will get it done. And the paperwork for adoption, like I wish I had like a copy of it somewhere so I could show you the literal, like they know everything about you.
So okay, so now you guys decided.
Yeah, we decide.
Okay, so we're
So we-
adopting earlier than we had planned.
Yep. And we're just gonna do this. And
And the process of that is like,
oh, okay. So we've done.
so how old are you now at this time?
We were young, which also worked in our favor. At the time, I was okay. I got to do the math on this. I think I was 23. Yeah. Yeah, you were 23 when we got married. So you were like 20. You were about 25, 26. And I was like 23, somewhere around in there.
So like your fertility, like once you recognized you see the
Oh, mhm.
the year, was it a year?
No, a year process of us
Trying.
trying and then doing doctor's visit. Like,
Okay.
I
I'm
don't,
just doing timeline. Okay.
yeah.
So you're 20, 21, 22 when you decide to try.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And then
And then it's about a year and a half, which again, I'm grateful for. Like, we were able to get into stuff and we were able to get
Sure.
answers very quickly.
Mhm.
And we had good doctors and
Sure, that's great.
yeah. Mhm.
So, I mean, it's almost it's the blessing in itself, right there, to
Yes.
right the
Mhm.
like recognize and acknowledge what you needed to
Mhm.
do
Mhm.
to have the children you needed.
Yes.
So then
So
adoption.
then we went in, and at the time we were Mormon, we were LDS, and they had LDS Family Services.
So this is
So we went.
a good
Uh-huh.
story. Yeah.
So we went in there, and met with the adoption worker, and he was great, fabulous. His name was Mark. He was wonderful, and oh, sorry, yeah, and he was really good about just guiding us through the process. He did tell us a lot of things like that we were young, which worked in our favor. That just we did fun stuff, you know what I mean? Like, and he was really good because you had to like take pictures and make like basically a scrapbook of yourselves.
You're selling yourself.
Oh, 100%. Because they pick you first. And
Okay. That's what I'm asking.
both of the
Okay.
agencies that we worked with, the girls pick you first.
Okay.
And then you kind of pick them back in a way. The second agency was slightly different in the way that like they would give a blurb. But I can get to that. But anyway, so we put in our stuff, and I will never forget for Skylar, it was Mark called, and he was at like a Lake Alturas at a retreat for like their adoption workers and counselors. And I was at the time working for the youth ranch, and I was going up to Chalice also, like, because we did like work crew stuff up there with the BLM. And so
Mhm.
we'd go for like days at a time. And this is early days of cell phones. So there was not great service. And I remember Mark and I were going to pass each other on, and he called me and he was like, you've been picked. And I was like, what? Because I thought he was just calling to check in with us because it'd only been like 6 weeks,
Oh,
maybe
okay.
2 months.
Okay.
Like, I hurried through all this paperwork that delved into our lives and
No.
medical reports and all the recommendation
sure.
letters and everything that we had to do. Like, I got it done so fast. I just buried myself in it.
Okay, so now I understand why you want to be younger, right? Like
Yeah.
your life has only been this like
Oh
long.
my gosh.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
No, it is. Yeah. Yeah. You give up everything. And anyway, and so so Mark and he says that to me. He's like, I don't have great service. You've been picked. And I was like, what? He goes, it's a girl. And then I lose him. And I'm like, well, are you sure? Like us? And
I
anyway,
have
and it
chills
was,
right now.
no, don't do that. See, I was doing so good. But it was like, so we pass each other.
Look at my boobs. It'd make you feel better.
Thank you. So we
Thank you.
So basically, I have to wait so many days, and I call Mark from like the payphone at this little nothing.
Payphone.
A payphone. Yes, this was those days. I get a payphone and I call him because I don't have service. He's finally back in service. But so I call him and I'm like, okay, what's going on? And he gives me a little bit more, just a smidgen more information. He's like, yeah, you really need to call Jeremy. Like, yeah, you guys have been picked. She's in Arizona. This is the information. And I'm going to give her the email. So like we did email exchange for a lot of this. So
at this time,
Mhm.
how far along pregnancy is she?
this was in July, and Skylar was due around the end of November.
Oh,
She did not
okay,
come at the end of November. Jeez, there's something in my throat. But
Oh, I heard that.
maybe that actually worked. No, so she was due at the end of November. And anyway, long story short, we went and met birth mom and her parents, and she had a little boy who we've since now met. He's actually come and stayed with us,
Yeah.
and very cool. But we went and met her and her parents, in early of October, right around in there. And then we're like, okay, we'll see you around Thanksgiving when she's born.
Okay, so
And
I'm
then-
going to pause for a 2nd. So you get the call in July.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you guys anticipating? Like, are you getting rooms ready? Are you prepping?
Sort of, but it's scary to do that because you don't know. They can always change their mind.
Sure. So
And we've
you
had a
and
couple.
so you, I mean, like I think about this, it's very mature. Like I would like when I was pregnant with Jack,
Uh-huh.
I mean, I'm like 19, 20,
Yeah.
19 actually, because I couldn't wait to get pregnancy clothes on. So I was a little more premature than you would want to.
Yeah.
So you're being pretty level headed, not getting your hopes
No.
up.
No, you're scared too.
Sure. Okay.
You're scared too
okay.
because then you have this because we've done this. Then you have this room, these things that are like taunting you every time you see them of what coulda, shoulda, woulda.
Sure.
And so it's almost easier to just not and then
Wing
panic.
it.
Panic by everything. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like you kind of have I would have things in my
So
car.
you didn't. Okay.
You know what I mean? Like I shopped. I window shopped. I had my
Sure.
idea of what I would
You
want.
knew you were gonna have a girl. I mean,
Yeah.
if this is going, you're having a girl. Okay.
Yeah. And so this was during the time. Do you remember the Britney Spears Halloween outfit where she had the Willy Wonka?
hope
Like I've got the golden ticket and it was the arrow that pointed down when she was pregnant.
No.
Oh, okay. We'll have to find that picture.
Okay.
But it was when she was with Kevin Federline. It was during
Yeah,
that whole
yeah,
phase.
sure.
And she had it was like Willy Wonka and I have the golden ticket and it was pointing down to her belly. And Skylar's birth mom went to Halloween with that same costume and then she was going to, and then she ends up going into labor. And so she doesn't make it to the Halloween party because she has to go to the hospital and have her baby.
Oops.
Yep. I did it again.
Yeah.
And so anyway, we got a call the next morning. It was very early in the morning.
And she's in Arizona.
Yes.
And you guys are here.
yes.
Okay.
And so we did not know that she had gone into labor. And I had worked the night before, like a swing shift. So I got home at 11:30 midnight. And Jeremy was at work. And it's like 7:00 in the morning. And I remember being outside with a dog. We had a German Shepherd at the time, and somebody had bust a pumpkin. And I remember being out there and the phone rings and it's Mark and I answer. And he's like, your baby's been born. You need to go to Arizona. And I'm watching our dog eat the pumpkin that's smashed. It's a very vivid picture in my mind. And I'm like snapping at him, but I'm like, okay, so like now, like we need to, like this is happening. And I was like, okay, I don't know what to do. Like now,
Did you
now
guys
it's
have a
like,
bag packed? Did you have your
No,
mom bag,
no,
your dad bag packed?
No, we had nothing
Okay.
because she wasn't supposed to be
You
born.
guys have always flown by the seat of your pants.
Yeah.
Let's just say that.
Yeah, but
Yep.
she was supposed to be born.
Sure, I
Like
get
this
it.
was almost like 3.5 weeks early
Okay.
from
yeah.
what we were expecting, and so no, we were not prepared. I think we grabbed a car seat on our way to Arizona. We stopped off at a store in a baby store.
Did you drive? Oh, you drove.
Yeah, we drove
Okay.
because we didn't know how long we'd have to be there, and it was really good that we did that because she ended up getting pneumonia and she was in the hospital for a week.
Oh,
Getting the IV and all that
Sure,
stuff. And so,
sure. And she
so-
was pre,
yes.
yeah, preemie.
Well, and there was fluid in her lungs when she was born. And so that's where the pneumonia came from. And so they would not discharge her until she had to pass a car seat test
Oh.
of like sitting in a car seat. She could breathe and she would be on like the
Oh my gosh, that's
Ooh.
scary in itself.
yeah. So we had to pass that. But she was in there for a week. And Bobby, which is her birth mom, Bobby, she just has a fun personality. And like, honestly, it was one of those things where we're the same age. In fact, she's just like a few months older than me.
Okay.
3 or 4 months older. And her worker, thank heavens for him, like he could just run with her kind of just personality. Like she never called him, it's culture if you don't know, for like Mormon culture, it's respect. You call somebody like brother or sister something. And so his last name was Terrio. And she would just call him Terrio. Hey, Terrio. Hey, Terrio. Like she never ever
Added
she
the
just-
brother.
Yeah, she just was marching to her own beat, and I just immediately loved that about her. And she didn't have to do it because we weren't supposed to do last names, we weren't supposed to do anything like that. But she gave us a wristband, Jeremy and I wristbands. She had enough, but since Skylar was in the PICU or the NICU, she had to like we can only have 2 people in there at a time. And so when Bobby would be there visiting, I would stay and Jeremy would go down and sit in the waiting room with my mom. But then when Bobby wasn't there, Jeremy and I would stay as long as we could
Mhm.
for visiting hours with Skylar. And so anyway.
So tell me that. I mean, we don't have a lot of time, but I just
Yeah.
want to. What's that feeling when you met Skylar? When you meet each kid,
Oh man, I know. It's the weirdest thing.
like you were
and I
still picked, right? Like, do you believe that
yes,
you were still chosen
yes, very
to
much
be
so.
the parents of these
I
beautiful
very
babies?
very much cannot imagine my life, and I people think I don't mean it when I say that because I used to hear all the time, especially after we got Skylar, people would be like, "Oh, you don't even worry about it. You're going to get your miracle." My cousins, friends, whatever, they told me they couldn't have kids, and they adopted a baby, and then 6 weeks later, she finds out she's pregnant. You're going to get your miracle, and I can't tell you. I finally just started looking at people and going, "I did get my miracle.
Yeah,
I did,
yeah.
I did," and there is no.
It is.
There's no second choice about it. Like these little souls were meant to be our children. And I firmly, firmly believe that. And I know that there have been some heartbreaks along the way. And for kids, it wasn't easy. Every adoption was very, very different. And geez, I could do a whole episode on each individual one.
Sure.
We just talk about the one that made me a mom.
Right.
And but each one was a little bit has their own little things. And I remember when we didn't get our third child, Tice, his birth mom changed her mind. And we came home and I came home to the room that I had prepared, all the stuff I had bought, because we actually were there. Like she changed her mind as we were on the way to the placement.
Wow.
So we had a hotel room with a playpen in it because we thought we were going to get a baby and bring him back to the hotel. Because when you adopt out of state lines, it's called an interstate compact. So that state has to, there's paperwork that the adoption agency says that, that one was Utah. And Utah sends to Idaho, and Idaho, hey, this is this child. They're adopting this child. They live within Idaho. Utah says it's okay for them to cross state lines. And then Idaho
Wow.
has to send it back. And it usually takes 2 or 3 days. So you can't leave the state lines
Sure.
until that happens. You can sit at the border, but you can't leave the state lines.
Sure.
So
Wow.
we
See,
thought,
I mean, I
Yeah.
don't think people
Yeah.
realize
No.
really how
Oh.
all the dots you have to connect.
Kendall, my second, was from California.
So you have to you have to go to
will
each
not-
state.
Yes. I would not. California was terrible to adopt from. They give them 30 days to change their mind. So after you're home, you want to talk about anxiety. Day 29, they could tell us she changed her mind, and we would have had to turn around and take this baby that we had been home with for
Sure.
almost a month.
So go back though. Okay, that did not happen for
No, it
Kendall,
did not. But
But
I
it
know
did
of
with
it.
Tice.
But I know of it happening with someone else that I know.
Oh,
Where
that
it was
29th
I think
day?
Texas had one, and they had it was that exact situation where it was like 2 to 3 weeks that they were home, and they had to drive back and take the baby back. Ugh.
So,
and it's
so what happened with Tice?
so Tice was born. We were going for placement. They called. They said that they had changed their mind. Jeremy and I packed up a hotel room. All those poor bus boys that came up. Again, this is where I have to have a sense of humor because I am just falling apart. And I can't stop the tears. They're just coming, and I'm packing up a playpen. I'm packing up a diaper bag. I'm packing up all these clothes that I'm not going to get to use. And my heart's breaking with each thing. And Jeremy and I both pretty private in some of this. So like, there's not a
Sure,
lot of talking.
sure.
It's not that we're mad at each other. I mean, there's nothing
Sure.
we can do, but are we the greatest at comforting each other in those moments? No, probably not. And these bus boys come up because we had all this stuff, and we needed them to help get it down to the car. And I could tell they were just like, oh my gosh, what are we walking into?
Sure.
And anyway, but we came home, and so the adoption worker on this one,
Where
I
is Tice from?
absolutely Tice is from Utah.
Okay.
Both boys are from Utah.
Okay.
Jeremy has sleeve of tattoos. Speaking of how they all mean something, and he's got the states. It's each state that our kids were adopted in. It's represented on that. So the Utah's right here, and that's my boys, both of them. But so Tice, where was I at with Tice? So we came back, and the lady that was our adoption worker on this, Jody, I wouldn't doubt if she watches because I love her to death. We're still friends on Facebook. She checks in with us all the time because we had we had 2 adoptions with her, Tice, which was unique, and then Radley's, which was very unique, and she went through it with us. We had 3 failed placements on that one, and that was just oh. But I know, like, Radley, as much of a firecracker as he is, that little stinker was meant to be in our home. And he took his sweet ass time getting there. But Jody was freaking awesome. And she I have a sense of humor about it. So my ringtone for Jody on my phone was Justin Bieber baby.
Baby,
Yeah, because I'd be at work and like I needed to know whether to answer that phone
Sure.
call or not. Because I was at the time I was working at a behavioral school and I was the counselor there, and so I would not have my phone out a lot of the time, or just not answer. But I knew I needed to answer those phone calls, so I just made a ringtone baby. And so I was walking down the hall at 8:30 in the morning. I just gotten the kids from breakfast down there, about to start my job, and I hear baby, baby.
How many days
This had been about 3, almost 3.5 weeks.
after you walked
Yep.
away?
Yep.
Okay.
And and it was rough. It was rough. My first day back at work, a gal came up to me that I worked with, a colleague, and
Sure,
she,
because everybody's excited for you.
oh no, she had heard that they'd all kind of heard that, because I was supposed to be gone for maternity leave and then I'm back, and so nobody was really
Sure.
saying things. She comes up after a meeting, and I felt so proud of myself to make it through that. And she came up to me and was like, "I'm basically going through the same thing. My daughter went to place a baby, and then we changed our mind, and I'm so glad that we've got the baby." And then she continued, and I was like, "This is not the same thing at all.
No,
This is
it's
not
an
at all
opposite.
the same thing."
It's the opposite.
Like, this is,
it's
and she's telling me how she doesn't know how, like, she's watching her daughter or stepdaughter or something not know how to parent this child, and the baby's dirty all the time and stuff like that. And I'm just like, oh gosh, you know what I mean? But it just, and I remember walking down the hall, my boss seeing me, and she was like, "Are you okay?" And she's a wonderful woman. I absolutely love and respect this woman so much. And I just said, "No, nope, I'm not." And she's like, go home. And I was like, "I think I need to." And I remember going home and just, nobody else was there. I didn't tell my mom, so I hadn't picked up my girls yet or anything. And I just fell apart for a good 2 to 3 hours, let myself fall apart. And then we remodeled. And I knocked down the baby room because I get aggressive.
oh,
And the
this
three-
is within the 3.5 weeks.
Yeah. So we had a complete construction zone in our house, took out the room that was supposed to be the baby room. And I was like, I don't have to look at that. Look at me go. And then 3.5 weeks later, I'm walking down the hallway and baby starts playing on my phone, and I answer it. And there had been, in the time, Jody had, "Do you want to put your names in on this baby?" And I was like, not yet, because I don't know. I couldn't delete the pictures of him off my phone. I couldn't do, the newborn pictures and stuff. I couldn't do it. I couldn't bring myself to. And I answered the phone, and Jody goes, "Are you sitting down?" And I was like, "No, I'm walking down the hallway." She goes, "Well, get to somewhere where you need to sit down." I was like, "Okay. Well, I'm sitting down." She's like, "You're not sitting down. I know you're not." And I'm like, "Okay, fine. I'm not sitting down." And then I got in my office, and I said, "Okay, I'm in my office." And she said, "We have still been in contact with the birth mom." And she's like, "We didn't call you until it was done because we didn't want
Another episode.
we didn't want another
Yeah, sure.
thing, but she just signed away her rights, and we have your baby. How soon can you get down here?" Time out. Drink a beer. Yeah, and he'd been she had been homeless on the streets of Salt Lake in February with a newborn baby, a 2-year-old, and a 4 to 5-year-old. And yeah, so don't get me downtown Salt Lake
Yeah.
and see like a mom with kids.
Sure.
I would give him everything I have. So yeah, it hasn't been an easy road.
Talk
But-
about that room, man. Talk
but-
about that room.
Oh. Yeah, well, then he just, slept by the side of our bed. We shared a room because I had taken out his. And we were in the middle of construction. But
Wow. There is
But
a story with each kid.
there is. There's a story with each and every one of them. And they were all very unique,
You
but
know,
meant to be.
it takes a lot to share, Jen, and thank you.
Oh,
I think everybody needs to hear it.
yeah. I mean,
It's things that people take for granted.
I think.
Right.
I mean, we all have those
No,
things.
no, I know, but
Yeah.
it really is. It's not something you guys are very private.
Yeah.
But I think it's very real, and you guys went through a lot
Yeah.
to get each.
I read a lot of books in the beginning, just trying to understand, because you try to make sense of something that doesn't make sense.
Sure.
And I remember reading in a book, and it was about just a whole bunch of different adoption stories and mother stories. And the lady in there that was talking about it, she was saying, because there's different ways to go about it, and she was saying that she didn't want to do adoption. She wanted to do like artificial insemination with like a sperm donor. That was her path, because to her, she wanted that pregnancy connection. She needed that pregnancy connection. And then I read another story, and she was saying that she didn't need that, because she was just like, adoption was a thing for me because I didn't need to be pregnant. I just wanted to be a mom. And that resonated with me so much. That was what oh God, I cry so ugly. Sorry.
I do. I get the gel.
but I just wanted to be a mom, and I do think that it's different for everybody. I do think that I've heard some stuff over the years.
Well, and not every story. I mean,
No, like
there's some bad story. I mean, you
Yeah.
you have experience too, but there's
man,
there's some people that don't have as much luck.
yeah. When I know that, because we're not. I mean, I don't hide it. Like, it's not something that we're embarrassed about. Our kids know that. They've known that from day one. We
Sure.
never wanted them to have that moment where they're like, "Oh, that was the day my parents sat me down and told me that I was adopted and they were not my
Sure.
parents." You know, we never wanted them to have that. So we always it was just an open topic in our home.
Sure.
Always talked about
I
it.
respect that.
Yeah, because I just didn't want them to have that moment.
Sure.
And
Like, oh, that's why we don't look alike.
yes,
Yeah.
something like that. Or if somebody said something in front of them when I'm in a store or something like that, somebody says something
Sure.
that they would be
They
like,
want the honesty from them that
That
you wanted the honesty to come from you.
yes,
No.
yes. And so, but man, we would get people that would be like, "Hey, my son and my daughter-in-law are having a hard time. You know, would you be willing to talk to them, or would you be like?"
Sure.
And there were some people that, and even people that are family members to us that, "I'm sorry, I couldn't love a kid that's not mine." I have had that
Wow.
said to me multiple times.
Wow. Okay. Wait till
Right?
Father's Day because I'll talk
Right?
about this. So yeah.
Yeah. Like it to me, I just am like, I could never. Number one, I could never like say that out loud to someone.
No.
Like, I'm just sitting here looking at it and I'm thinking like, what if your best friend passed away and you were the godparent and you know what I mean? You're going to tell me you don't love that kid? Or what if it's your sister, or what if there's some circumstance like Luke Bryan? You know what I mean? Isn't it Luke Bryan? I think
Yeah.
it's Luke
yeah.
Bryan.
His,
That his
his
sister and his brother-in-law both pass away, and they are raising their children.
car accident, right?
One was cancer and one was a car. I don't know.
Oh,
I don't
yeah, yeah.
remember. But
still,
still,
regardless, regardless.
Yeah.
the
I mean, like,
situation.
are you going to tell me that
So
you're going to
they-
treat
like,
that kid
this
different?
happened more than once?
More than once. More than once. I can think of.
Why is ignorance such a
I don't know. And are they good religious families? Yeah.
that
They are.
talk to you about that?
Yes. 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 And that to me, like, is out of all the things that people have said, because there's been ignorant stuff.
Sure.
I can't stand when people say like, whose fault is it? Because I'm like, fault? You're acting like we did something. You know what I mean? Like, nobody's fault. Like, you know what I mean? Just questions like, I've been asked that many times. Like, you would be appalled. So, and I know we all have our stuff. I'm sure there's stuff that like somebody else is going through where I say an ignorant comment that isn't so.
I don't know. I mean, I stick my foot in my mouth quite often, but I don't feel like I have ever. Right? Like, it's not
Yeah.
like you have to be careful around the situation,
Yeah.
right? You have
Yeah.
to like read
Yeah.
a room. And
Yeah.
what did we taught when we're younger? If you have nothing nice to say nothing.
Well, but you know what I mean? People always think like their advice is.
But how is
You-
that
you
advice?
obviously
That's an
want this.
opinion.
You always want but I mean, you see it online with keyboard
So
warriors and
let me
stuff.
ask you,
People
when you
always-
answer it, I mean, I'm sure you have a face of like, fuck off.
It depends on the person.
So here's me, like, well, it depends on the person. I mean, if they're ignorant,
Mhm.
like, how do you handle that? Do you
Kids,
turn ignorant back?
kids are typically ignorant because I would get that a lot when I was working at the schools.
Oh, well, okay.
You know, they would say,
That's because there's troubled, right? I guess.
well,
I
a lot
don't
of them,
know.
yeah.
Yeah.
hmm And they would say things like, I could never let somebody else like, oh, I've had this one. This one I used to get from kids quite a bit. Don't you feel bad you had to buy your baby?
Fuck you.
Many times. And to reduce my children, first of all, adoption is expensive. Like, I wouldn't. I mean, I don't know how political wise and things like that, but I will say that doing money and helping families that for artificial insemination and doing credits that way for taxes and stuff like that, I really sincerely hope this administration can push some of that through, because it is. I've seen a lot of people, good people, that want to adopt that can't because it's expensive, very expensive, especially if you're gonna go through an agency and some of this other stuff. There's some stuff about it that I don't agree with, that I wish laws would change on, and agencies would change and do something different with just the race of the child determines the cost.
Wow.
Yeah. And to me, that feels really icky and wrong. But it is what it is. I mean, and we don't choose, like I said, on the agency in Salt Lake, who I absolutely love, Guardian Angel Adoptions. They're in Utah, and they are fabulous, fabulous women. Most of them are adoptive moms themselves, so they really get it from all aspects.
Well, they can share that same.
Yes.
There's the empathy and the understanding.
Yeah, they always assign a counselor to the birth mom and a separate counselor to the parents. So everybody's got an advocate, which I think is really
That
nice.
is, yeah.
Because to me, I mean, that is one of the hardest things. I remember Terrio telling me this as we were going into the placement with Skylar, our first one. He said, you've actually done something different this week, and you've really bonded with this birth mom. And he said, you're going to watch her in one of the most painful moments of her life. And he says, you need to remember that you're not the problem. You're the solution. And that helped so much. So much in understanding and Bobby was a fabulous birth mom. For my first one, I had no idea how good I had it. The minute she gave Skylar over to us, she said, you're the mom, you're the dad. She called us that in every letter she wrote. And we have since, we took Skylar actually there to Arizona where she was born. And she met her birth mom. She met half-sister, I think 2 half-sisters, her full biological brother, who's come here and stayed with us. And then also
Last summer.
No, it was actually a year ago in January.
Okay.
And then biological grandparents, biological uncle, like she met quite a few people.
She has some family connection.
She does.
Biologically.
And all of our kids are different about how they question it.
Sure.
All of them are
Process emotions. I mean, that's
well,
human.
And just how much involvement and how curious they are. And
Sure.
we've always just maintained that it's their choice. I don't want, because you have different birth parents with different degrees
Sure.
of wanting to be involved.
Different emotions.
And
Different- yeah.
I never want one to be like, well, why does your birth family does this and mine does not? So we've always allowed, like, once they get to a certain point, I mean, they're allowed to have as much contact through me as they would like. But once the kids get old enough, they choose what type of contact and how much they want.
And that's
That's the only fair way.
Sure, but that's just, I respect that.
Mm.
I respect that very much.
Mhm.
So that, I mean, that is a selfless act in
Yeah.
itself for you and Jeremy to both do.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie and say that there's not times when it's
Oh,
I've only had one out of 4 children. This little last one, this little stinker that you met at the beginning, he's the only one that has said, well, you're not my real mom. And I will say, I immediately was like, crushed. Like, because in
Sure.
4 kids, I hadn't had one of them, and I tried to be all whatever, but I walked around the corner and the girls could see, and Skylar and Kendall, God bless them, they both just roared. You do not like,
Sure.
you know what I mean? And that I think is what's cool is that they all, even though they aren't biologically related, because none of them are,
No, they have a great connection.
but
There's a connection,
there is a connection.
a deep connection.
Yeah.
And sibling.
And I will say, I do think it helps that none of them are biological too. You know what I mean? Like they all are in the same boat
Sure.
where they, and, you know, and our girls joke about it. Like it's, we joke about it. They'll sit there and they'll be fighting and she'll go, oh yeah, well, you're adopted.
So are you, bitch.
Yeah, exactly. Like we try to teach them to have a good sense of humor.
Sure. That's
Yeah.
important.
And Skylar she's done that. I remember my aunt was dying because Skylar was out jumping on the trampoline with her son, and they're fairly close in age, within a couple of years. And they were young at a family reunion, jumping on the tramp, and she was laughing out there because she said they were doing like a 1-up. Oh yeah, well I'm and Skylar goes, oh yeah, well I'm adopted. And he just jumped and goes, I got nothing on that one. Like,
You win.
you win. Yeah.
Jen, thank you for sharing that.
Well,
That's tough. I mean, you get a tougher exterior, right? Like,
yeah.
you know, we wear our masks
Oh yeah.
yeah, but that's a really great Mother's Day story.
And it's Mother's Day for,
Yeah.
you know, the misfits, the ones that we had to work a little bit harder to get there.
But it was
And,
worth it.
It was absolutely. And if that's taught me anything, it's just that, you know, go through the tough stuff, because in the end is what makes it worth it. So, yeah.
I think that's pretty.
Mhm.
That's pretty.
Yes. Wasn't quite as funny of an episode. We got all emotional. We got all
Yeah, that's
feelers.
Mother's
Yeah,
Day.
it is Mother's Day.
We
Yeah.
get all emotions.
Okay, now I'm ready to drink.
Yeah, here we go. We're gonna do
El
that
Cap
after.
to the mariachi. Cha cha cha.
Yes, you are. Happy birthday,
Uh-huh.
Jeremy, and happy
Uh-huh.
Mother's Day.
Exactly. Yeah.
Happy Mother's Day, moms.
Happy Mother's Day, moms. We wouldn't be here without you.
No.
Cheers. Bye. I forget every time.
Oh, yeah.
Same shit, different day.